Hey guys, so for today, in honor of it being such a nice day today outside, the sun is out, it's warm outside, we're going to be talking about something that I hate, and that is the praxis. I have my handy dandy notes app to help me to be able to organize my thoughts and recall certain things. I've just added to this the past few days, and this is something I've been wanting to talk about for forever. I just didn't know how or when or why or who or I don't know, but let's just do it today. It shouldn't be too long. I just want to share my distaste and dissatisfaction for the praxis. To sum up what the praxis is for those of you who do not know, who may not know, basically, in order to student teach and become an educator in a classroom, like a traditional classroom, teaching full class, you need to take and pass these certain tests called the praxis. There's two different kinds. There's the 7,000, then there's the 5,000. I did the 7,000. I heard that they were easier. In my case, and if you can't already tell, they were not easier. I had to change my plan, my grad plan, my career path. I had to change my mind completely, strictly because I wasn't able to pass two of the six tests. Or was there six? Was there five? Let me look. No, there were four LED, elementary education based tests. There was the English, the math, the science, the social studies, and English as in like reading slash language arts. And then there was for my minor, which was English education. By the way, my major was elementary education, my minor was English education. I had to, for that, take an English praxis, a middle school English praxis. And okay, I gotta get my story straight, and I want to tell this in an easy to understand way, but I don't know. This is basically like I failed the praxis and now what, and here's my now what. And I'm a para-educator. A para is below a teacher in salary and position and like status per se, and I work on behavior, I work on academics. Kids who are behind academically and or behaviorally, they need a para. They may be deaf, they may be behaviorally behind, they may be academically challenged, something of that sort. My student, I was paired with her last year. I graduated December of 2022, started my job last year, January 2023. I've been there for now like a year and a half. This is my first full school year with my student, and I'm going to move up with her with each grade, which is really exciting. And she has a speech impairment. So that's what she is diagnosed with. She may have other health issues as well. Not that they're health issues per se, but just health challenges. Things that can stunt her growth alongside her peers. And they really try not to hold students back. They really try to propel them to the next grade, even if they're still behind. And I believe in that. I support that to an extent. But sometimes at the same time, you have to understand the need of the child and you have to cater to them. If they are significantly behind or below average, I hate that phrase below average, but it's true in a way. But you need to hold them back. So we'll see what happens with my student as the years progress. I may go back to kindergarten after fourth grade elementary ends for her and she moves on to the next school because I don't like older school age kids. It sounds really mean. But I have to be fair to myself and kind to myself and understand my preference and my teaching style and what my personality is a good fit for. So, did it work out in my favor? Actually, yes. Because I did not pass the praxis and I went this alternative route, I'm happier. I look at this and I see it as a blessing because maybe student teaching would have killed me and fried my brain. Maybe if I had passed that, passed the test, passed the student teaching process and everything, been in a classroom, I would find out in the end, wow, it's not for me. I feel like this is all for naught. I had this dream to teach first grade and here I am and it's not me. It doesn't feel me. It doesn't feel right anymore. And I hope we're good. Okay, thank God. Um, but I don't know. I feel so content and at peace as a para-educator, and you're paired with one student. You're still teaching one student at least, and you help around the classroom as well here and there too. But your sole responsibility is that one student. So the bond that you have with them, and see, last year they had me with two kindergarten students. I had one in the AM, one in the PM, and they were going to have me work with the AM student, the boy, but they changed and they had me work with my preference, my PM student, not to be mean to the other student or anything, but we just kind of, we didn't clash per se, but we definitely didn't bond. Like, I couldn't reach him, and he has a hard time keeping pairs, I found this year, and he's on his second para, and it's just not going so well. We'll see what happens. But the little girl I have, like, we laugh way too much. We have a ball, we have a blast, we have so much fun. and we laugh and joke and tease throughout the day. It's not just all like you sit and you learn. Like there is a little bit of that because you have to be the teacher, but you can have fun too, and you're also their friend, which is great. So let me get to some of the notes. So basically, dear Praxis, you suck. I just want to throw that out there. I want to say that like first and foremost, like before I forget, because you stressed me out, you stole my money, and you ate away at my year. Because really, what it was, and I looked back at my email and these email threads, and it looks like I attempted the test a total of 9 times. So the first time I take them, I take all of the elementary, all 4 tests at once, and it was hours long. I think it was like a 5-hour long test. It was something crazy. And I did these tests from February to September. That's like half a year, basically. February, May, June, July, August. Yeah, that's like a full 6 months almost, essentially. And I'm taking and paying for these tests and failing these tests. And this was a long year. 2022 was a hard year for me. My relationship ended as well. Around the time that I stopped taking the test, I stopped all of the attempts. And it was just crazy. I remember we had to wear a mask. COVID was still big and bad enough to where people were wearing masks. I tried an at-home test and it didn't start. It wouldn't like log me in or get me through. And so I had to still pay for it. I paid for a test I never took, which is a bummer. So they're expensive tests. Each one was around $100, I want to say. And that's just a lot of money going down the drain if in the end, in my case, me, you end up not participating in student teaching and therefore becoming a traditional classroom teacher. So that was basically stupid. So I had to reschedule the test for the next month. I never got the refund back. There's a middle school English one that I didn't pass, and then I believe there was only one. I think it was, yeah, it was definitely the math, at least the math, maybe the English too, that I can recall that I looked back in the email. That I didn't pass as well. And math, elementary education, like, it sounds so harmless, but it was intimidating, and I have math PTSD. Like, I would come home from school after school, and I would cry trying to get my math homework done for the next school day, and I was just in tears. My dad would try to help me, my sister would try to help me, and it just wouldn't go through. It was in one ear, out the other. It was over my head, and I just can't do math. College math classes were just as hard for me, and I just have like a glitch in my brain that cannot comprehend math facts. I just can't get it down. So stupid. And I've heard from what other people have said, like reviews and test takers and things, they said these tests do not test your actual teaching skills and they are a waste. Well, I kind of added that part. They're a waste. And that's kind of more paraphrased in my words. But they don't. You can be a good teacher. You can teach the concepts and the content. You can teach it all right and correctly and everything. But these tests, they turn away so many teachers, potential teachers and prospects. And like, I'm a poor test taker and I like to think I'm fairly smart and intelligent, but on tests I go blank. I do. I can study, and I did. I studied for hours on end. I studied relentlessly. I studied all kinds of different materials. I found people who had tips and tricks online, and I tried the actual form of the test, and like the practice test, and it just wouldn't stick. And I have a comprehension problem. I think I do. I'm not diagnosed. I'm diagnosed with ADD. I have ADHD, but it's more internal. It's more in my brain. You can't really see it. It's just my mind is going a million miles an hour, and I just can't get things straight in my head sometimes. And so because of that, it's so challenging to do school. I'm amazed that I was able to survive school, K through 12, and then college especially, because I had to work so much harder. Like, I'm a writer. I can write. I can do those types of assignments, but the memorizing and the facts you need to recall and remember and retain, those for me were so super hard. And so I opted out and went with foregoing student teaching and changing my major to professional studies. So it's nearing 2022, the end of 2022, I should say. I graduate December 22. But before my last semester, I'm like, this is it. I can't pass these tests. This is a waste of my time. This is a waste of my money. And I don't want this anymore. I changed my mind. I'm going to be a parent instead. And I'm still going to teach, just in a different way, a different route. And so I never student taught. I never got my certification. And I'm happy with that. I'm okay with that. That's fine by me. Because to me, it's just more stress on something that I can't handle. And maybe it's a sign from God or the universe or something trying to say, Emily, teaching, you're still doing it, but you couldn't do it that way. That way was too stressful. And being a full-time, full-class teacher, like that to me just blows my mind. It makes me go bonkers just at the thought. Like, I've loved my practicums, and I gotta say that. Like, I loved all of them but one. I had a really bad experience. My second to last semester was gonna be my last semester, but then I had to retake that class because it was so bad. And not so much that I was so bad, not to toot my own horn, but just because it was a poor experience where I couldn't perform as well, so I had to redo it. And thankfully, I got the mentor teacher that I deserved and that I earned and everything. And it was a total 180, like it was total flip, and it was beautiful. But the staff and the teacher that I worked with and my peers too, it was just a mess. It was drama queens everywhere. It was so stupid. So I ended school in a high note. The praxis sucked. That last semester sucked. It like killed me. But in the end, I got my mentor teacher that I deserved. I had the most amazing practicum to end with, and I graduated in the year 2022, just 1 month shy of being 6 years a student, a college student. And it went fine, and it went well, and I survived. And my intent was to teach first grade, and ironically, in a way, I still am. I'm working in a first grade classroom, and I'm moving up with my student with each grade, which is really fun. And rumor has it, I gotta say this, rumor has it down south, like in the southern states, like southeast of the United States of America, they're much more lenient, and they hire just anyone like off the street. And that's upsetting because my dream had to change. And let me just make sure that I said everything. Yeah, that's bonkers. That's wild to me. They hire basically just anybody. They hire like subs with no experience, if that. And that to me just like, what? That's mind blowing to me. They're turning away qualified and experienced people like myself who have had practice in the classroom, teaching experiences in the classroom, and then they do this. And then they do this. They have the praxis that kills me and turns me away. And it's just like, what? Like, what in the hello? What the poop? Like, what? It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And ironically, not ironically, I don't know, I just threw that word out there. But I can imagine myself, and I've been complimented this. I take it as a compliment. But, like, I'd be the funny middle school teacher talking about her feelings in classroom, kind of. Like, I've had my friend Breezy say something along those lines. Like, I can see you with a middle school class teaching them, like, kind of life skills, essentially. And I can see that, too. I don't think I'll ever go back to school. I don't think I'll ever student teach. I don't think I'll ever teach traditionally. But being a parent to me is the way to go. I might sub one day. I don't know. I still have options in education. And just so you know, it was originally a major in elementary education with a minor in English education. But because they had to switch me and I had to go the alternative route where I'm still, that was my phone, sorry. Where I'm still like teaching per se, I just graduated without student teaching. They switched my major and minor a little bit. So my major became professional studies, and then I had a minor and emphasis of my once major and then minor. So English education and elementary education became my minors. So I was still graduated, still got my bachelor's, still got my degree. My 4 years for me was like 6 years. So it was all good, and it worked out in the end. But I'm just saying, praxis, you eat money, you waste time, you cause stress, you turn people away. Like, there are other ways. There are other ways to test teachers instead of turn them away. They have trick questions, and they trick your brain, and I'm just very anti-praxis. It was such a stress ball. No, not a stress ball. Stress balls are good. Excuse me, that was my car. Whoa. I don't know. Just so stupid. So stupid. I'm like heated right now. I gotta take a break. But yeah, I just enjoyed this little chat with you guys in the vehicle. But yeah, so let me get going. But that was that. All I wanted to say about the praxis. That was my experience and what I'm doing now. So yeah, love you guys.